Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video. I am once again in Ark, and in this video guide, folks, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about crafting kibbles in Ark. Kibbles are basically the best type of item that you can use when you are taming creatures, and most often people will use them for taming high level creatures to get those extra levels, and of course by getting those levels you will get more out of your creatures. Now the first thing that you will need is some type of a farm. Over here we have a farm, and this is where we will grow our veggies. Now you don't have to have it in a greenhouse, but it does help because you do get a 300% increase in the growth rate. Over here we have the citronella, as you just saw. We also have the rock carrot, also known as the carrot, and of course we have the long grass, which basically resembles the sweet corn. And finally here, if I can access it properly, we will have the savo root, which is basically the potato. On top of this we will also need a variety of berries. The ones I recommend that you farm in this method will be the meho berries, because they do have multiple uses in the game. Of course we will also need tinto berries and asberries and stuff like that, but we will cover that when we go through the recipes. Now what do we need to craft the kibbles? You will either need a cooking pot right here. Now if you do use a cooking pot, you will need to add water to it, either through the use of a water skin that is filled with water, or a water jar that is of course the watering method. Now of course all of the kibbles will require water and 5 fiber in order to craft, and of course in terms of fuel you will need wood for that. But if you do have the industrial cooker will be hooked up to a water supply, so that sort of makes our life easier. It is harder to craft, and we will need gas to power up the industrial cooker, and as you saw right there, I had some fiber. Now that is one of the things that we will need. The other thing that we will need will be either an industrial grill or a campfire. That is because we will get meat throughout the game, and we will have to cook the meat in order to have it either usable as a food item, or we can turn it into jerky. So over here we have the two types of jerkies that we can get, which would be the prime meat jerky and the cooked meat jerky. We can also store here in the fridges the honey, and of course we get the cooked meat jerky from the cooked meat, and the cooked prime meat jerky, which is right here, from the cooked prime meat. Now the prime meat will drop from large creatures when you do harvest them, and so they have a very short spoil timer, and therefore you will have to cook them pretty fast to get the cooked prime meat jerky. With that, of course, you can either use it that way to tame animals, or of course you can have some of it turned into the cooked prime meat. Of course we will also need the cooked fish meat. The same thing applies to both of the cooked meat jerkies, so for that you will need a preservation bin, and of course in here you can add the spark powder and of course the oil, along with the type of meat that you are going to use for the meat jerky. So as you can see, they are both crafting. They will craft passively over time, and they will consume the spark powder, which you get from the flint that you will then turn into spark powder in a mortar and pestle. The oil, now let's talk about the oil. This is an ingredient that you can find throughout the map under the water and stuff like that, but you can also get it from a different location. So I'm going to go back to the crop plot and show you over here that we have the fertilizer, because they go hand in hand, and you can build yourself a little oil and fertilizer farm. How we do that is, of course, you can do this with the use of a fertilizing bin, but the best way of doing it is by having a dung beetle. Dung beetle is a passive tame. You get this by basically feeding it poop up its bum, and then you bring it to your base. You put it in a cage like I did here, and then you set it to wandering, and then you put poop in its inventory, and over time, as it does its own thing, it will turn the poop into 2 items that we need. Mainly that will be the fertilizer and of course the oil. Now you can have a couple of these bad boys in your base, just doing their own things in their own cage, wandering about, and they will continuously produce the oil and the fertilizer as long as they have poop in their inventory. So yeah, do save up your poop. It does have a good use in the game. Now of course the dung beetles can be found in caves, and you do want to get a high level dung beetle if you can, but any dung beetle will do just the same. Of course you can also find them in the desert wandering about, and of course you can find them in other areas on Ragnarok, for example near the volcano. It is a good idea to know the map and where the dung beetles are located, because these are your friends with regards to crafting fertilizer for your farm. Now with that out of the way, let's have a look at kibbles. We're going to have a brief look at a table that will show us everything that we need in order to craft all of the kibbles, and of course all of the types of kibbles. So over here in this table you can see that there are a total of 6 types of kibble. We have the basic kibble, the simple kibble, which is better than the basic kibble, the regular kibble, the superior kibble, which is better than the regular kibble, the exceptional kibble, and finally the extraordinary kibble, which is the best kibble to use. So I strongly suggest that you only use this kibble for the best of the creatures. Now, depending on the type of kibble that you will be crafting, you will need a type of egg. So this will range from the extra small egg to the small egg, medium egg, large egg, extra large egg, and the special egg. I'll cover these separately in a later section in the video where I will showcase every single kibble and how it is crafted. On top of that, as you can see, we will also require a variety of berries. So this would be the Mahou berry, Tinto berry, and the Amberberry. Of course, we'll also need 5 fiber and water for any and all kibbles, and on top of that we will also require some rarer items, and that would be the rare flower, the rare mushroom, which you get by harvesting things around the world. And of course, also on top of this, we will need the giant bee honey, which you can find in the giant bee honey hives, which these are of course scattered about the map. Of course, you can also tame the giant bees and have your own hives producing the giant bee honey for you. Now in the third resource section, you can see that we will need the cooked meat. So this will be the cooked fish meat, cooked prime meat jerky, and the cooked meat jerky. On top of that, we also have the focal chili and Lazarus chowder, which I'll show you how to make in a bit. And of course, the fourth resource will be the cooked meat and sap. Sap you can get from the trees in the redwood forest by setting up a tap into the redwood trees. And on top of that, all of the kibbles will require water and 5 fiber. Now let's look at the focal chili, and this is what you will need to craft the focal chili. You will need 9 of the cooked meat, cooked fish meat, or cooked meat jerky. You will also need 5 citronelle. You will need 20 arm berries. You will need 20 azul berries or blueberries, and 20 of the tinto berries, as well as 10 Mahou berries, and access to water. This can be crafted in a cook pot or industrial cooker, and of course it is also a consumable on top of an ingredient for the kibbles. So if you do consume this, it will increase your speed for 15 minutes. Next up is the Lazarus chowder, and of course for this you will need 9 cooked meat, cooked fish, or cooked meat jerky, 5 sava root, 5 long grass, and 10 Mahou berries, on top of 2 narcotics and water. Again, this can also be crafted in the cooking pot and industrial cooker, and this will of course help you gain an extra health regen. This is a passive thing. It is also a consumable, and of course an ingredient in the kibbles. So now let's look at the kibbles. As we've established, there are a total of 6 kibbles, and these are the best things to use sometimes on creatures. Not all creatures, of course, they will have other things that they will require if they require specific items, but if you find a high level creature that you want to tame, most often it will require kibble. So let's pretend that we want to tame ourselves a 150 Rex. Well, what do? How do these kibbles actually work? This is what we are going to discover. We have to understand how these actually work with regards to taming. Now, we have already knocked out the Rex. It is ready to be tamed, so we're going to start putting some kibble in it. The best kibble and the recommended kibble is, of course, the exceptional kibble that has the yellow aura, and I've also circled it, but you can also use the extraordinary kibble if you want to use that, because it is better than the exceptional kibble. So, of course, this means that you can always use a kibble that is better than the recommended kibble, and you will get the exact same results. Well, what happens if you use the lesser versions of the kibbles? So if you do that, what will happen? Well, simply put, you will lose effectiveness when you are taming the creature. You will basically be doing yourself a lot of damage, and the kibbles that are worse than the recommended kibble will basically decrease your taming effectiveness by 66% compared to raw meat in this case, which isn't really what you want to be using as it is on a high level Rex. So now let's look at each individual kibble, how they're crafted and what they are used for. For the basic kibble, the ingredients are as follows: 10 arm berries, 1 of the cooked meat, cooked fish meat, or cooked meat jerky, 1 extra small egg, 5 fiber, 5 marrow berries, and 10 tinto berries along with water. So of course, the small eggs will be the dillo egg, the dodo egg, the featherlight egg, the kairuku egg, listro egg, parasaur egg, tech parasaur egg, and the vulture egg. And of course, you can use this to tame the following creatures: the Dilophosaur, the dodo, the kairuku, parasaur, Phiomia, and the Mesopithecus, which is the tiny little monkey. And that is pretty much it for the basic kibble. Next up, we will look at the simple kibble, which is the next one up. For this, you will need 1 cooked fish meat, 1 small egg, 5 fiber, 5 marrow berries, 2 rock carrot, and water. And the small eggs are as follows: the Archaeopteryx egg, the Compy egg, the Dimorphodon egg, Gallimimus egg, Glowtail egg, Hesperornis egg, Microraptor egg, Oviraptor egg, Pachyrhinosaurus egg, Pygomastax egg, Pterodon egg, Raptor egg, Tech Raptor egg, and Trike egg, as well as the Tech Trike egg. And with this kibble, you can tame the following creatures: the Archaeopteryx, the Diplocalus, the Gallimimus, the Iguanodon, the Megaloceros, the Morellotops, Pachy, and of course the raptor, as well as the Triceratops, on top of the giant bee and the Ichthyosaurus, which are both passive tamed. Of course, this kibble is also useful for taming the creatures mentioned in the previous kibble, which was of course the basic kibble. Next up, we're going to look at the regular kibble, and for this we will need 1 cooked meat jerky, 1 medium egg, 5 fiber, 2 long grass, 2 savaroot, and water. For this, of course, the medium eggs will be the Ankylo egg, the Baryonyx egg, the Carno egg, the Dimetrodon egg, the Diplo egg, the Ichthyornis egg, the Iguanodon egg, the Caprasuchus egg, Kentro egg, Pachyrhino egg, the Pelagornis egg, Plumoscorpius egg, Sarco egg, Stego egg, Tech egg, the Terrorbird egg, Thorny Dragon egg, Trudon egg, Turtle egg, and the Volonosaur egg. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that the Plumoscorpius egg is not one egg that we can pick up, so of course that will not work, but it is classed as a medium egg. For this, of course, we can tame a lot of creatures. You can see the list there. This kibble will be effective for the following creatures: the anglerfish, the Ankylosaurus, the Baryonyx, Beelzebufo, Carbonemus, the Carnotaurus, Dimetrodon, Diodorcus, as well as the Ichthyornis, Caprasuchus, Kentrosaurus, Limantria, Pelagornis, Pteranodon, Plumoscorpius, Perlovia, Sabertooth, the Sarco, Stegosaurus, Terrorbird, Thorny Dragon, Volonosaur, and of course the Diplodocus and Equus and the Gigantopithecus. And these last 3 creatures are of course passive tames. Next up, we are going to look at the superior kibble. For this, you will need 2 citronelle, 1 prime meat jerky, 1 large egg, 5 fiber, 2 mushrooms, 1 sap, and water. Of course, the large eggs are classed as the Allosaurus egg, the Argentavis egg, Megalania egg, the Megalosaurus egg, the Mosschops egg, the Snow Owl egg, the Spino egg, Tapahara egg, and the Titanoboa egg, as well as the Tropionathus egg. Now, this kibble can be used for the taming of the Allosaurus Argentavis, Cassarides, and the Daedon, Dire Bear, Dire Wolf, Dunkleosis, the Gasbags, the Mammoth, Megalania, or Megalodon, sorry, Megalosaurus, Megalotherium, Pachyrhinosaurium, Plesiosaur, Snow Owl, Tapahara, Woolly Rhino. So these are the creatures that this kibble will be effective for. Of course, you can also use this kibble to tame any other creature from the lesser quality kibbles. So this will apply through all the other kibbles that we'll go through. Next up will be the exceptional kibble. For this, you will need 1 extra large egg, 5 fiber, 1 focal chili, 10 meho berries, 1 rare flower, and of course some water. The extra large eggs are as follows: the basilisk egg, the bronto egg, the gigantosaurus egg, and of course the Megashelon egg, the Quetzal egg, the Rex egg, the Tech Quetzal egg, the Tech Rex egg, and the Therizinosaurus egg. Now, with this, of course, you can use it to tame the Brontosaurus, the Gigantosaurus, the Carcinos, the Magmasaur, the Mosasaur, the Quetzal, the Rex, the Spino, and of course the Therizinosaurus. You can also use this to passively tame the Basilosaurus and the Tropiognathus creatures. And finally, we have the extraordinary kibble, and for this you will need 1 special egg, 5 fiber, 1 giant bee honey, 1 Lazarus chowder, and 10 meho berries on top of the water. Now, the following eggs are classed as special eggs: the Crystal Wyvern egg, the Deinonychus egg, the Golden Hesperornis egg, the Magmasaur egg, the Rock Drake egg, the Wyvern egg, and the Uteranus egg. The best one and easiest one to get is the Uteranus egg by just having a farm of Uteranuses. For this, you can use it to tame the following creatures: the Astrocetus, the Griffin, the Megalania Rock Elemental, the Thylacoleo, and finally the Uteranus. And that is pretty much it for the Kibbles. That is all that there is to know. It is a lot more simplified than it used to be a while back in the past. I do hope that this is a guide that will help new players out in the game. I will also, of course, timestamp everything so that it is easier to locate. And of course, it is also aimed at players that are a bit more advanced in the game. That is why I put the table at the beginning of this video. Now, my question to you guys is, did you find this video useful? Do you think that this could have been done better? I think I covered everything. If you guys think that I missed out on anything or that I should have included something else, let me know down below with a comment. And of course, I want to know if you guys think that this will be helpful, if you found anything useful, and what it is that you found useful in this video. With that being said, and then I'm going to end this video here. It's been long enough. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. Also, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video's description. Until next time, stay safe, folks.